Welcome, fans of flip clocks. Today in Flip Clock Fan Studios, we have a Kentech, and you're not going to see one of these very often in Flip Clock Fan Studios. And I'll tell you why. Well, this is the Kentech model T-445. It's the 120 volt, 60 hertz, 3 watts. Well, why don't we see these? I hesitate to say this, but I'm not a big fan of Kentech. They tend towards feeling kind of cheap. But anyway, I got this off of eBay, and the numbers are kind of all buggered up. They won't lay correctly, they don't flip correctly, and it wasn't that expensive, so I thought, well, let's just see what's going on with this Kentech, and maybe it'll change my mind about the clocks. So I'm taking it down. It's just 2 screws, pretty straightforward. And again, I don't mean to offend anyone who has Kentechs, and it's a flip clock, so it's cool just because of that. So, but like I said, it tends to be kind of, I don't know, it kind of the weird kid on the block, and I'll show you some of the things about that. I couldn't get these screws out the normal way, so what I figured, I was just spinning my wheels. Once I take the top off, those screws dropped out. So it's put together pretty simply, and we can see that the numbers aren't laying correctly. The 6 here should probably be a 5, and that would lay it flat, and the other numbers maybe went up too. But after a couple seconds, you can see here, there's not a tine here. That's what I call those. Those little metal tabs. In this case, it looks like it was a plastic tab to hold the numbers back. There's an insert here, and it feels kind of rubbery. But if you look on the other side here, you'll see where a tab or a tine has broken off. I thought about, well, what am I going to use? This is a flip top from another clock, and I thought, well, what if I use this material? These black tiles tend to take super glue really well. And I figured, well, maybe it'll glue onto that insert well and hold. It's a gamble, but might as well, because otherwise we've got a clock that don't work at all. That looks to me like about the size of what it would have been originally. I tried at first to glue them on when these little inserts were off the clock. Eventually, I had to do some adjustment, and I decided just to do it when it was on the clock. You see, it's stiff enough to where it's going to hold those numbers back. And I'm just using it, just plain old liquid super glue. So this is my first run at it, and the glue is holding it pretty tight. I'm not really having any problem there, but things aren't flipping exactly to my liking. So I'm going to throw the whole clock away. No, I'm going to go ahead and readjust. And I made this, they're about 8 millimeters in length, these things. And they like I said, the glue holds them pretty good. So I'm happy with the way that's working out. So after I play around with the length a little bit more, make some adjustments, I think I'm getting close to where I want it to be. Now you're going to notice something about this clock maybe. The minutes are not all on one tab. Most clocks have the minutes on one tab and not separated out like this. This is sort of like a rolling wheel clock where the minutes have 2 wheels, but it's a flip clock. It's just not a very good design, in my opinion. It's prone to error. So now you can already see I've got everything back together, and the numbers are lined up. Even when I tilt it down there, everything's lined up the way it should be. And it doesn't just flip normal. Like I said, I'm going to show you what happens when I energize the clock. I've replaced that neon glow bulb already. Now you watch this. As the clock's getting ready to flip over 58, it kind of resets itself and gets ready for that. So it's ready now. It just kind of rolled that wheel around, and so now it's at 58. And it flips over to 59. And again, it's not as smooth as what we're used to on a regular flip clock, on a good flip clock. Yeah, he said that. Again, no offense, that's just the way it is. And the flip's kind of strange, and I think that's just the way it's going to be. And the funny thing is, a lot of clocks you'll look for where's the maker, and it's on the hour on the 12, so that's kind of unique. Made in Japan. And there it is, a Kentech T-445, an Oakley clock that's not going to make it to my shelf.
When you get the time, come visit us at flipclockfans.com.